In this video, I'm going to show you 2 hot cue essentials for Serato DJ that you need to know if you're an absolute beginner. Now, if you don't know what hot cues are, they're kind of like markers in a track. You can add or remove them, and once they're there, you can jump to them at any point, whether a track is playing or stopped. Now, adding them is easy enough. All you need to do is suppress the appropriate performance pad over on your controller or the hotkey on your keyboard if you're spinning without a DJ controller. Now, apart from adding or removing hot cues, there are 2 more things that you can do to them within Serato DJ, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So let's get to it. Alright, so I've got a track loaded over here on the left deck, and so far I don't have any hot cues yet because you're going to be able to see them over here in this section. So let's try adding one. Here at the very beginning, I can just press number 1 on my keypad. That will add a hot cue, and I can also just click on that box, and if I want to remove it, just hover with my mouse and I click on this one. So yeah, adding and removing is pretty easy and straightforward. Now here's what I want to show you. Apart from doing that, you can also add some text over onto the hot cue, so you can label them if you want. So let's try adding that hot cue again. And since this is at the very beginning of the track, let's change the name of this over onto, let's call it the intro. Just click on the time code over here, just like that. And let's just type in intro. So now instead of seeing the time code, you're now seeing the label that you just typed, which is intro. So this is really handy, so you don't get lost if you've got like tons of hot cues already in a particular track. And you can also name code or label hot cues in all of your other songs this way. So we've already got intro over there. Let's try going to this one, and let's see, this is probably the break in the track. Okay, so let's move over to the section over here, like that, and then let's add a hot cue, and then I'm going to call this the break. Yeah, so pretty easy. So now I've shown you how to label. That's the first tip. The second tip is while Serato DJ automatically adds colors to these hot cues, you can also change them if you want to have your own little color coding going on for your hot cues. So right now we've got red and orange for intro and break, and we can always change these just by right-clicking and choosing the color that you want. Let's say instead of red, you want to use blue or aqua in this case. It's a little bit more teal actually, but you know what I'm saying. And then after this, let's try changing this to purple. So there you go. Those are the 2 extra things that you can do to a hot cue. You can change the label, and you can also change the color. And this is pretty important because let's say you want to add a hot cue towards the end of a song. Let's say at this point, which is basically the outro of the track. Let's have a listen. Yeah, so over here, let's say you want to add a hot cue here, so whenever the playhead passes this point or is headed close to this point, you know that the outro song section or the outro chunk is going to happen. So you can just place a little hot cue there, which will serve as a marker, and then you can change the color of this one. For example, for me, whenever I add this type of hot cue, this ending or outro hot cue in my tracks, I always label them red just so, it flashes red and whenever I'm DJing, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to mix out of the track right around this point. So I can just change this one, which is currently green, change it over onto a bright red color. And I can do this for all the other tracks in my collection if that's how I want to color code my stuff. So let's change this one, intro, and so let's change the color, just this one over here, and let's say I just want to move on over to the last part of this track. More like this one here. Yeah, that point. And then I'm going to add a hot cue here, change the color to red, and change the label as well. So I can keep this hot cue naming and coloring convention going on. And of course, if I decide to change my mind later on, maybe like a couple of years down the road, I'm like, I just want to change the colors all around. Or suddenly I'm like, I'm not such a fan of red anymore. Maybe I'd rather use yellow or blue for the outro section. I could go ahead and change them one by one if I like. But yeah, it's pretty good if you stick to a convention from the get-go, especially if you're just starting out in your DJing, because this is something that you're going to be using throughout the duration of your DJing career for as long as you're using Serato DJ as your software of choice. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now get good, get out there, and make the moments.